Welcome, focused learners, to this explainer. Let's jump right in. Today, we're taking what usually looks like a chaotic, messy household emergency and turning it into a highly structured, tactical biological defense briefing. Yep, we're talking about sewage backups and exactly what you need to know to protect your home. So, let's dive into this by recognizing that a sewage backup isn't just standard water damage. You have to ask yourself, is it just a plumbing mess or a full-blown health crisis? Well, the reality is it's a literal invasion of invisible pathogens into your living space. Treating it like spilled tap water, that's the first, and honestly potentially most dangerous mistake you can make. To get a clear understanding of how to regain control of your home safely, we're going to follow this structured roadmap today. 1. The hidden sewage threat. 2. Recognizing exposure symptoms. 3. Safe steps for homeowners. And 4. When to call professionals. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the hidden sewage threat. We really need to peel back the layers here and expose the unseen hazards lurking in that contaminated water. Now, health officials warn that your exact risk heavily depends on where that water is actually coming from. Whether you're dealing with municipal sewer waste, which carries a generally higher level of biological contamination, or storm drain floodwater, which can be this totally toxic mix of sewage and outside chemicals, well, both scenarios pose a severe immediate danger to anyone inside the home. The true danger lies in these specific disease-causing organisms. We're talking about dangerous bacteria like E. coli and Salmonella, various viruses that spread like wildfire through fecal matter, and parasites. And get this, those parasites can actually multiply by the millions in just a matter of hours. These invisible invaders are what can truly wreak havoc on the human body, causing severe gastrointestinal, skin, and respiratory illnesses. Now here's the absolutely crucial point. You don't even have to touch the water to get sick. Looking at these exposure routes, sure, direct contact and accidental ingestion are the obvious ones. But look at that last one, inhaling aerosolized particles. Just running a pump or simply trying to clean up the mess can launch these microscopic pathogens right into the air. That leads to a seriously dangerous respiratory exposure. Because of that, you have to be incredibly vigilant. Even tiny amounts of contamination can severely impact the vulnerable members of your family. Children, older adults, pregnant people, and immunocompromised individuals face a significantly higher risk here, especially if that contaminated water finds its way to broken skin, eyes, or mucous membranes. Moving right along to Section 2, recognizing exposure symptoms. If an exposure actually happens in your home, you've got to closely track this physical timeline of symptoms. Immediate reactions. Those can include skin redness, rashes, or irritation that just won't fade quickly. Then, over the next few days, you need to watch for severe gastrointestinal issues like diarrhea, vomiting, stomach cramps, and fever. Finally, persistent symptoms like a lingering cough or throat irritation can signal that dangerous respiratory exposure we just talked about. As health departments highly recommend, you've got to take swift action here. Seek medical advice if symptoms are severe, last more than a short period, or if someone in the home is considered high risk. And most importantly, document the exposure. Actually, scratch that. Write down exactly when the backup occurred and what specific areas of the house were hit. Give your clinicians the absolute best information possible so they can effectively treat you and your family. Okay, let's get into Section 3, Safe Steps for Homeowners. This phase is all about empowering you with immediate, safe do's and don'ts. Before you even think about grabbing a mop or a bucket to start cleanup, you must follow these exact 3 steps to stabilize the environment. First, limit contact. Keep pets and people away and isolate the area so no one tracks that contamination all over the house. Second, and this is absolutely vital, shut off the electrical power to the affected areas if water has reached outlets, appliances, or wiring. And third, do not engage until you gear up properly. You've got to establish a tactical defense by wearing this exact protective gear. We're talking heavy-duty waterproof gloves, complete eye protection, and robust respiratory protection. You want to completely eliminate the risk of inhalation or physical contact. Seriously, do not attempt this cleanup in your everyday household cleaning clothes. Now, here is a vital technical detail that most people totally overlook when they're in a panic: dwell time. Dwell time is the required amount of time a disinfectant must remain on a surface before wiping or rinsing. Applying the right sewage-rated disinfectant is literally useless if you don't follow the product's required dwell time. It needs those specific minutes to actually break down and kill the pathogens before you wipe it away.
To prevent lingering contamination and long-term health risks, you have to be absolutely ruthless about your belongings. For heavily soiled, porous items like carpet padding, upholstered furniture, and insulation, you just have to discard them. They simply cannot be safely saved. Now, for non-porous surfaces, you can clean and disinfect those, but extreme thoroughness is the only way to prevent any lingering threats.
Finally, let's look at Section 4, when to call professionals. There comes a definitive point where a job simply becomes way too hazardous for a homeowner to handle alone, no matter how prepared you are. Experts emphasize that you need to call licensed cleanup and remediation services if the backup is extensive, involves multiple rooms, or specifically includes raw sewage. These pros have the heavy-duty water extraction tools and air filtration equipment necessary to properly eliminate health risks, safely handle contaminated debris, and prevent future mold growth and nasty lingering odors. Furthermore, if you're dealing with repeated backups, you really need to understand the mechanical root causes happening under your home. Whether it's clogged main lines, tree root intrusion, malfunctioning sewage ejector pumps, or physically broken sewer pipes, use this breakdown to call the right professional. Get a licensed plumber or sewer specialist out there to fix your infrastructure and stop the cycle entirely. Taking this biological and mechanical threat seriously, with preventative checks and safe practices, will ultimately protect your family. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to consider. Are you prepared to safely defend your home from the unseen hazards in your plumbing? Keep these tactical steps in mind the next time the waters rise, so you can act quickly, decisively, and most importantly, safely.